Hi, it's Stephanie on Spotify, and we have Madame Mayhem here with us. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, I love when there's a female led vocal band. That's just super badass. Do you think it's been easier for you to be female in a kind of male dominated industry, or has it been a little harder, or a little bit of both?
I think it's definitely both. I think it's been getting slightly better in some ways. There are more of us that I see out on the road now than I did when I started, which is exciting because anytime I see a girl, whether it's a lead singer or just crew or another part of the band of another band, I get very excited because I love my guys in my band, but it's nice to see some female energy out there sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I love that. But no, I mean, it's definitely hard because people tend to try to make all female fronted hard rock bands like the same.
To compare.
Yeah, they compare us all and we don't all sound the same. We're not even all like, okay, female fronted band done. It's like, okay, well, there's some metal, there's metalcore, there's hard rock, there's melodic. There's so many different like sub genres within that. And not that I can even define like what exactly each band is, but we definitely don't all sound the same. So it
Yeah.
is interesting. Yeah.
I feel like in the early 2000s, being in radio, even it was a male dominated scene in all industries and genres, not just rock. So I think you have to be a little thick skinned or tougher to kind of hang with the boys.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah.
is for sure. I mean, you have to be able to hang or you can't really it's almost impossible to be on the road, I would say. I am very lucky though that my team and my little bubble and our band, they're all like big brothers to me, and I'm very
Oh, cool.
fortunate for that. And luckily, the people, whoever we're currently working with and everything, it's been very good. But
Yeah.
starting out, it wasn't so good. So I'm very grateful for the place that the bands and I are in now, being a female artist. But it definitely wasn't always like that.
How did you guys all meet?
Through other artists and producers. And I mean, I started this band a very long time ago. And, over the years, whether other people had to drop out for whatever reason or to join another band because we weren't consistently touring when we first starting, or I was working with a producer who was like, hey, you got to check out this, guitarist, he's amazing. And then through that, or our a previous guitarist of ours was like, I got this bass player, he's amazing. We got it. We got to grab him. And I did. And it's Percy. And he's currently the bassist of our band to this day. He's the longest standing member besides myself. And so, it just kind of works. The more you are out there playing, and whether it's intentionally or unintentionally networking, you'll end up finding the right people that fit.
Definitely. I think a lot is more networking than random audition or somebody you don't know at all because you can trust in the industry. And it's kind of a smaller, more connected industry than I think the general public would know. Like a lot of you have the same managers or tour production people, and you've crossed paths after like 10 years with a lot of the same people.
Yeah, and even if we aren't currently working with the same people, we've all worked with some of the same people at some point, and so there is always that, and so it just kind of happens like that, and it is a small community. It's not so big, so
Yeah, like a big family.
it
So,
really.
do you have a top three favorite bands right now?
Ooh, that's hard because there's so many great bands out right now. Like for
Yeah.
bands, that's really rough. I mean, I've been really into Hot Milk, which has female in it, which is awesome.
I haven't heard of them. I gotta check them
Okay,
out.
so I stumbled across them.
Hot Milk?
Yeah, I
Did I
think they're
hear okay, I just wanna make sure I heard that.
yeah, I think they're UK based. And then of
Okay.
course The Warning. And again, these are two bands that have females in it, which is very cool. And so
Yeah.
love that. I don't know. There's so many. That's really hard.
Do you have, like, an old one that like, a go-to that you've liked for 20 plus years?
Well, I mean, the obvious ones I would say, like growing up, I was obsessed with Incubus and Soundgarden and Nirvana and Alice in Chains. And then of course the most influential ones growing up were Evanescence, Korn, Disturbed, Breaking Benjamin. Like that's what I grew up listening to. And so those are the most influential ones for sure. And what the coolest part is, I'm pretty sure they're almost all, not all, obviously from Le Grangera, but are still touring today, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of Evanescence, did you hear that Amy might take over for Linkin Park? And what would you think about that changing from like a male to female vocalist and Linkin Park touring with Amy?
Well, if it's true, which I have no idea
Me
if
too.
it is.
It's just a
Yeah,
rumor.
I love all the cool rumors that people do, because sometimes you're like, "Oh, there's no way," and then it isn't, but then you're like, "Oh, there's no way," and then it is. So it's always,
Sometimes it happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun little game. But I think no one can really replace Chester. So if they were gonna have another vocalist, it should be someone like Amy, because it's gonna be someone who has her own unique, influential voice. And so it's not gonna be someone pretending to sound like him, if that
I
makes sense. Because
agree.
no
I
one
know.
can
I think
be
it's a neat, I think male to male, you'd compare more and
correct.
it'd be a cool contrast to have a female and you're like, oh, this, it recreates the song, I think, in a different way.
Right, exactly. I think that you nailed it.
So, okay, what is a guilty pleasure of yours that no one would know?
Oh, there's a few. I really do like, oh, music is my whole life, so there's not that many things. Oh, there's a few things actually, and one of them is I just saw on your Instagram you talking about this, so I think we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't normally watch reality television unless it's like Bar Rescue or
I've gotten
Gordon
obsessed just
Ramsay
recently.
yelling at somebody. I am a Vanderpump Rules fan.
I am too.
Huge.
Ah,
I saw you talk about it and I was like, "Okay." Yeah, no one really knows that. I don't really I don't even think I've seen a Housewives episode or anything like that. But for some reason, a few years back, I got into Vanderpump Rules,
yeah.
was afraid to tell anyone because it was, like, ruining my image, and then when Stassi left, I was sad.
Me too. She was my favorite.
He was my favorite, and so I kinda just stopped
Yeah.
watching, and life got in the way, and we started touring more, so there was, like, no real thing, and then, after Scandival happened, I was like, "I guess I'm watching again," and so now I'm back.
That's exactly what I did, like, literally to
Nice.
a T, because I was pregnant, so I caught up on Vanderpump Rules later in the
Mhm.
game, so I sat home and watched it all, and I go, "This show is awesome," and also I bartended and served in LA, so I just vibe with the whole show.
Right.
Stassi was my favorite, she was just unapologetically herself, and then when she left, I was bummed, and it shook up the dynamic, but yeah, same thing, I heard about Scandival, and I'm like, "I gotta jump back in," and now I'm full back into where my girlfriend and I actually next week are gonna do a co-host podcast all about VPR. So I think a lot of people, it's their
I'm gonna
guilty
tune in.
pleasure.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tune into that for
Okay.
sure. Oh my god. I mean,
Who's
it's
your
just
favorite now, like on the current?
I don't none of them.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. It really depends on the episode. It keeps messing with me. Um, I mean, Katie really, or like Lala, who I thought I'd never like, I do now.
same. Yeah.
Like I really thought I wouldn't, and I do. And I mean, and because I have 2 children myself, which is not something I talk about very often,
Me too.
but I
Yeah.
can very much relate to all of Sheena's anxieties, from this past season, and so it was really weird because I was watching reality television, which is supposed to be guilty pleasure, like, everyone's probably faking all these fights and whatever, and it's staged and scripted, but there were a lot of real things in there, so whether or not the scenarios or whatever, or however they do it, there was still a lot of relatable stuff in there, at least for me, weirdly for this season. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Lala's grown a lot, and I like to watch her growth, and a mom like, motherhood has made her a better version of herself,
Oh yeah.
so she's good to watch, and then James, it's really surprised me, I went from hating him to, like, I love him, he makes me laugh, he's so silly and crazy, and
It's funny
I
how was like the one no one liked, and now he's like the hero.
yeah, yeah. So where are you guys based out of?
We are based originally from New York City. Some of us have spread out a little bit towards New York City, right outside of New York, or right next to in New Jersey. So we're in the New York, New Jersey area right now.
Oh, nice, nice. What's coming up in the future? Are you guys gonna go on a tour, riding right now? What's the
So
plan?
yeah, so we just got back from a bunch of shows with our dear friends in the band Oranda, and that was really fun. Um, they're amazing guys, and so it was a really great opportunity to kind of hit the road and just play these cool shows with them. We were supposed to be doing Throwdown at the campground in June, but they just had to cancel it. I don't have any details. I can't tell you why because I have no idea.
Oh, crazy.
But yeah, it is wild because we were looking forward to that for a while. But you know, if it happens, it happens, and so
It
hopefully we'll
does.
be able to see those fans and our friends in those other bands and that community soon, in another way. But in the meantime, we've released a bunch of singles that have been going really well, and we have a bunch more that we're ready to release soon. And so trying to figure out if we want to do either an EP or if we want to finish up a couple more songs and get a full album out because it's been a while. We've been doing a lot of the single model that, you know, a lot of the industry has been advising lately. But you know, we're rock people, and we like, as a fan myself, I love the full length. So I might
I
just do
know.
it.
It's like we grew up with albums, right? And the excitement
Right.
of an album coming out, and I would wanna sit in my room for a long time and listen to the whole album. But nowadays, I think the kids' attention spans are gone, and they want the hit single, and then they just want another single, and that's, like, what's trending? I
Yes.
don't know, but vinyls are also coming back, so, like, a full-length album on a vinyl would be pretty cool too, so.
Yes, and we've been thinking about all of those fun things. So we are currently working on new music while planning releases for the stuff that's ready to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Madame Mayhem. I will tag you guys. You guys have to check out their music and keep up to date with what's going on, and thank you so much for stopping by Steph's Rock Show.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.